You've got the story idea, you want to make a comic, but you're not quite sure how to do it. It's not really that complicated, and maybe you're making it a little bit more complicated than it actually has to be. So today, I'm going to show you how I take a simple idea and start writing it down so I can get the story out. Oh, and I'm Chris. Welcome to Panels in Progress. Today, we're writing a story for our comic. I've got my sketchbook, a pen. I'm pretty analog, but you could do this on your computer if that's where you want to do it. But basically, what you want to do is just write the story out. Don't worry about formatting, don't worry about what's going to be in what panel. Just get all the ideas out on paper first. Paragraph form, old school. Don't make it more complicated. Be as detailed as you want it to be, because that idea can transfer over to the next part of this. But for today, just get the story down on paper. That's the first step. So you don't even have to follow a format when you're writing your story for the very first time. It's more important to just get the idea out, because as you write the idea, more ideas are going to come. I got this idea from a nightmare that I had a couple months ago, and it kind of stuck with me, and it was so vivid, the dream, that I knew I wanted to turn it into a comic because it just creeped me out that bad. And so I've been kind of sitting on this idea for a little while. I'm finally starting to put it down on paper. So this is the first step. Getting the idea in paragraph form, just everything that happens on paper. The next step is going through the story and figuring out what is actually panel worthy. That's the next step. Alright, so we're still working on our story, and the next part, after you have gotten all of your ideas written down, is to take that paragraph format, and now we're going to introduce some script ideas. Now, first things, if you are writing, drawing, painting, doing the entire production yourself, you don't need to follow a strict script format. And I would also, if this is your first time even making a script or making a panel layout for your story, I would advise not to worry about scripting. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you the easiest way to just get your story to look similar to a script. What I'm about to do is just take my rough ideas and think of what I want in a panel. Now, I don't know how much you know about paneling, so I'm just going to give a brief idea of the concept where each panel, each picture is going to convey something. You can't have multiple actions going on for a character. For example, if a character is running, then the character is running. You might be able to say running, because of the format that we work in, you can only show so much in a panel. You can only convey so much in a panel. And if you get into the idea of your character is running and then he jumps and he's yelling obscenities at the person behind them and a car hits him, all of that cannot be shown in one panel. You can show that in multiple panels, but not in one panel. So you have to be very precise with what you want to show in one panel. And I came from an animation background, so I'm going to say something like, don't worry about the in-betweens. What you want to focus on are those panels for the big actions, just depending on your story. But I'll show you some examples after I do this next part. I'll give you an idea of how I broke down complex ideas into a simple panel structure. I just went through my story and I elaborated on all the ideas that I had from the story and took it to panel format, going step by step. And if you look at my notes, you'll see that panel 1 is very descriptive because I'm setting the scene. Panel 2, a little bit more descriptive because I'm getting into the action of it. And then panel 3, because I'm introducing a main character, I have to be even more descriptive because I need to know what I'm gonna draw when I recreate this. All the other panels, it literally goes action for action, trying not to get too bogged down into the details and trying to visualize exactly how I want to see it in my head. Trying to put down on paper how I see it in my head, all the way down to the reactions and the movements of the bug. So far, I have 26 panels. It's a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but it's only because as I got to the end of the story, or what I want it to be the end, I really don't like cliffhanger endings, or I don't like to leave my audience with something to be desired. So I kind of like to wrap it up a little bit. So I could have stopped it when the bug attacked his face and just left it at that, like, okay, it's done, it's over. But I was like, no, I think I can go a little bit more. So I kept writing. And so when you're doing your script, you might have your story idea, but as you're writing, you might get some new ideas that you didn't think of before, but now because you're visualizing it in your head, it's actually going to come out more on the paper and you can put it down. And the beauty of writing this way, it means you just have an outline. You just have a general idea. You don't have to be married to the script. You could start doing your thumbnails and try to figure out that, oh, these panels don't work quite well. So there'll be another editing session later when you start actually drawing it. For right now, we're thinking like a writer, and we want to give our artist self enough visual clues to know exactly what we meant while we were scripting this. That's the second step. Just going panel for panel, what you think would be great in a panel, putting all of your ideas down, as complex or as simple as they should be. But remember, you can only show so much in one panel. The next step, the final step to complete this little idea of our story, is going through and figuring out where those page turns should be. Where is it enough for one page? So you want to remember that a page could have as few as one panel, or it could have 10 panels, depending on how you want to go, depending on the size format. If you're European and you're making a European style comic, usually the more panels the better. If you're more like American comics or more like manga, anywhere between 4 to 6 seems to be the sweet spot. Anything bigger than that, or anything larger than that, then you're going to start to crowd your page. So keeping that in mind, let's go back through our script and go through our page breaks, and I'll show you exactly how I do that. So we can actually put away our rough story because we no longer need that. And we're just going to look at the script in its format as it is right now. So we've got panel 1 where I'm setting the scene. So it's a wooded area, dense trees, dark forest. 2, bare feet running, scratches on the feet, sounds of breathing and the sounds of running. 3, a full body of a man in a business attire, but he's grungy, clothes are tattered, his tie's ripped. Now, I could say that these 3 panels should be enough for this first page, but what I actually want to do is, because I know he hears a sound behind him, he turns to look. What I'm going to do is, his foot catches a low lifted branch. I want a page turn to be between here because I'm thinking that I'm going to cut it here. So this will be one page. He turns to look because I can see that at the bottom of a page, him turning to look would be the perfect way for the person to turn the page to the next. His foot catches a low lifted branch, falls into the dirt and leaves, checks his foot, cleaning the dirt from it. He finds a bug tucked between his toes. He flicks it away disgusted. His eyes squint as he sees something else. I'm gonna do it right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right, his foot has a cut where another bug appears to be on top. He attempts to pull it out. The bug tail or leg snaps. He's surprised or scared. I don't really know how I want him to react here, so that's why I kind of put a question mark. And that's another beauty of being the artist and the writer, is that sometimes you are flying by the seat of your pants and you don't know what you're gonna do with it until you actually start drawing it. So let's see here. He's surprised, he's scared. The bug starts to wriggle inside of his body. So I could either, actually yeah, I'm gonna cut it here because the bug starting to move inside of his body would be another great page turn. And that's only 4 panels that time. Alright, the bug starts to wriggle inside of his body. Horrified, he desperately tries to reach for it. The bug squirms deeper into his foot. We can see the imprint of the bug. He immediately jumps up screaming no no repeatedly as he starts stomping his feet. So I'm going to cut it there, another 4 panels. The bug has now moved up his foot to his leg really fast. Now hysterical, the man is hitting his leg to try and kill the bug. The bug keeps coming, growing bigger and bigger as it moves up his body. And see, here's another part where it's like, I was flying by the seat of my pants. I didn't know what was really going to happen. I think I'm going to cut it here. So 3 panels on this one. And then this is all going to be 1 page. Because the bug finally exploding out of his chest would be another great answer to a page turn. So we have 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages. So this is a 6-page comic. Alright, so as it is right now, this is a 6-page comic. And as I was going through, I was thinking about the page turns. And when you go through your comic, you want to think about the page turns too. The page turn is a perfect setup. It's like a question and an answer. The page turn, when you're reading comics, it's what keeps you wanting to turn the page, is because the writer, the artist, is creating a question, and because you want the answer, if it's compelling enough, you will turn the page. So always try to think about your page turns in that way. But that's it. I went from a rough idea from a nightmare that I had a couple months ago to paragraph format story to breaking it down to a rough script to now I have divided my script panels into pages, and now I have something that I can work with. So from this point, I would go ahead and start getting some character ideas. Luckily, because this is going to be a short story, I only have to come up with 1 character design. I only have to come up with 1 background design. So that's going to be fairly easy. But now, there you have it. You have 3 steps on how you can take a basic idea and turn it into a simple comic script. And then you can start drawing your characters, your backgrounds, and then eventually start drawing your comic. Hopefully this has helped you. If you guys have any questions about my process and how I work through this, leave them down in the comment section below. You will be seeing more of this story because the very next step I'm going to work on is creating character designs. And I'll show you how I figure that out. Not the best at it, but hopefully you can also learn something from that in my process. So if this helped you, please like it, subscribe to the channel, because on this channel, this is what we do. We talk about comics, we talk about how to make comics, we talk about manga, what we like about them, and what we can learn from them. And if that's interesting to you, then stay tuned and stay subscribed. I'll catch you guys in the next video.